Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for this 10 to 14 days for today's video. Day 10 will take us to the 15th of March, and we'll be able to set up beyond that with the set of GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe I'm trying to look at the weeks, have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us into the end of March, and I shall get on that for you in a moment. To say that first, video series are 6 game UK weather forecast, and we've also released the episode 14 of Stratwatch as well. So check out those two bits if you'd like to. Like, share, and subscribe on all today's videos and content. Thanks so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, going to start off with this video in the Strat, actually, but we won't be dwelling on this for too long because we've covered everything really that's relevant in Stratwatch. But just to confirm, if you haven't seen Stratwatch, we are now seeing warming, significant warming of the stratosphere over Russia and over Siberia as well. That is a major SSW that's pushing out of Russia and into Arctic and North Pole on the latest GFS run, GFS 6M run, through the course of the next few days. Displaced from the stratospheric polar vortex that squashed down into western parts of Europe there by the 13th of March. We go beyond that, we get a split of the SPV as well, one low of balloon spiraling off into the Pacific side of America, another lot around west of Europe, and a renewed warming of the stratosphere there over western Russia and into the Scandinavian area as well. So we end up looking like that by the 21st of March. Significant warming again through many northern and also western parts of the Arctic and of the northern hemisphere. Not a very significant warming stratosphere so it's going to reverse as a wind 10 HPA 60 degrees north, split event as well, and we will wait then, gets to 21st March, we will wait then, see what, if any, tropospheric response we get. If you want to know more about Strat, check out Stratwatch. Episode 14 was released earlier on today. Right, let's move from that from Earth. NorthSchool.net shows we've got a ridge of high pressure sitting over into the south. The east country low pressure is out to the north and west, and there's an active weather system through there as well. So we are shifting wind around more of a southerly southwest. It means that we shouldn't lose the cold nights. So if we have recent nights down in the south, we should lose the frosty nights and start to lift the temperature up even more at the end of the week and into the weekend. Could get 18 Celsius with our southeast corner by Sunday afternoon. So for old spring mode, expect things to turn cooler or colder next week. More about that later. Central temperature is currently sitting at 5 degrees, 5.0. That is 0.6 degrees below 61 to 99 average. Is provisional to yesterday, to the 4th of March. These were GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Next couple of weeks, we're going to London today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature outshore London. Starting off above average with the upper air temperatures at the moment. They're going to be dropping though as we get through into next week. Quite a cold spell opening up now into next week with these cold ensemble members, thick green line and the thick blue line, the GFS operational and control runs respectively. They're both going to between -5 and -10 at 850 HK there on the midnight run of GFS. Maybe a little bit of a recovery in the upper air temperatures into the third week of March. That's a very long way out, is extended range. That's definitely an upgrade in the cold signal there for next week. Precipitation wise, what dry weather to come over the next week, gradually starting to turn a little bit more unsettled through the middle and second half of the month. That's a midnight GFS ensemble. Let's have a look at the 6 then, shall we? See how that compares. And again, pretty good agreement for a colder spell coming up next week, starting off above average the rest of this week and the weekend. Next week, though, looking colder. Maybe not quite as cold, but 6 ensembles as the midnight run, but most of them are dropping below average. It is a fairly solid signal for things to be colder next week, and maybe a more solid signal for colder weather to continue into the third week of March there. Actually, precipitation wise, again, lots of dry weather and then a little bit more unsettled. Let's have a look at snow row, see if that's doing anything. Not a huge amount, there are a few spikes just there. And then again, late on, but not looking all that encouraging. What about Birmingham, higher elevation? There are a few more snow spikes around the 13th of March. Something like that. Temperature anomalies. Next 5 days are coming out above average, not just UK and Ireland, but from most parts of Europe. What about the 6 to 10 day temperature anomaly? Well, there we see quite a significant change there, and it's going colder than average through not just the UK, but also into Ireland as well in the 6 to 10 day time frame. And the 10 to 14 day temperature anomaly keeps it colder than average too. Precipitation anomalies for the next 7 days are coming out drier than normal, and the 10 to 16 day precipitation anomaly. So sorry everyone, also coming out largely on the dry side. Right, let's start going through chart dates. Remember, South UK met Euro Roads looking midnight on Saturday. Low pressure slipping away to the south, and we're probably above very mild or even quite warm southerly southeast wind there into the weekend. Next week, you find high pressure building around Greenland and Iceland. Winds are turning into the east and into the northeast as well. That's midnight next Tuesday. High pressure blocking around Iceland and Greenland. Low pressure around Germany and the Low Countries, and winds again are coming in from quite a cold east or northeasterly direction. That gets us up to midnight next Wednesday, again blocking out high pressure around Iceland and pulling in quite a cold northeasterly wind with risk of some wintry showers, certainly for the east, and a return of harsh overnight frost, I would have thought, harsher time of year. It's all comparative, of course. It's not going to be like if we had this pattern in January, but nevertheless, for the time of year, I think it will be quite cold there, with wintry showers in the east and a return of night frost. Upper air temperatures looking cold by the middle of next week with UK Met, and Icon looks like that. Again, we lose those mild, warm, southerly southeasterlies that we have at weekend into next week. We ship a wind around to a cooler or a colder northeasterly, and then those northerly northeast winds are in with us through to the middle of next week, with a blocking area of high pressure around Iceland and low pressure over Baltic Sea, actually, and that pulls down again that cold northerly northeasterly wind. Again, I don't think this is a tropospheric response to the stratospheric warming. It's normally a couple of weeks, 10 days to 3 weeks to get a tropospheric response to a strat warming. So I would imagine this is just like a continuation of a pattern of having winds. You know, 3 weeks, certainly since the new year, we've had blocking episodes and cold in an on-off fashion, interspersed with much milder periods as well. I think this is another scenario along those lines. So I don't think this is like going to be a locked-in blocking cold pattern that we see here. I would imagine it will get milder for a while, and then we might get the tropospheric response late on in March. We'll see, but you don't always get a tropospheric response to an SSW. KMA, once more, bring up those southerly southeasterly winds at the weekend. Into next week, though, high pressure is blocking around Iceland and Greenland, and winds are turning into an east or a northeasterly direction, so becoming colder through the course of next week. Could be some snow showers, wintry showers anyway, maybe snow showers onto the east coast. Certainly return of cold nights with overnight frost, and then this low coming up from the south looks quite interesting. Could that bring a little bit of snow into the southeast, maybe around days 9 and 10. Beyond that, well, that blocking area of high pressure is maintained up to the 17th of March, so a cold St. Patrick's Day there, with blocking again between Iceland, Scandinavia, and winds coming in from the east. A prolonged, quite cold spell setting up with the KMA. GFS midnight run, all much of a muchness for Saturday, drawing up those southerly, southeasterly winds then, and then we find high pressure building around Iceland and Greenland, turning the wind into a colder northerly and northeasterly with wintry showers, snow showers onto those eastern coast. Heading into the middle part of next week, high pressure is around Iceland, low pressure is through the low countries into the North Sea. Again, down comes those northerly northeast winds. Upper air temperatures are looking covered. It's a little area of low pressure there, just off the southeastern coast of East Anglia. That might bring something a bit wintry into the southeast corner there next Thursday, 13th of March. So it looks quite cold anyway up to that point. And days 9 and 10 gets to 15th of March, continuing with that cold and blocked pattern. Then beyond that, we find high pressure becoming more centrally located over country. So that will gradually start to see temperature lifting by day. Probably still quite cold by night, though. We end up going back into a mild westerly and low pressure on ice and high pressure through the Azores. This is a precipitation forecast based on that GFS midnight run from Tomato.com. Don't take this too seriously at the moment. It's still too early for this kind of data, really, but it's just a bit of an indication that as we go through next week, as the wind backs around from the south to southeast to the east to the northeast, things gradually turn a little bit more wintry. That's next Tuesday, heavy rain in the south, wintry conditions up in the north, and by the end of Tuesday, well, snow showers coming into the north and into the east as well. And then we've got that little area of low pressure off the East Anglian coast there through the middle of next week, bring rain and the risk of some sleet and snow into those eastern and southeastern region. So again, don't take that too literally. It's just an indication that there might be some wintry conditions around through the second half of next week anyway, with the chance of some wintry flurries. Okay, GFS 6 then, again with low pressure away to the west of Spain, Portugal, drawing up those southerly and southeasterly winds, so quite a warm weekend to come. Make most of it if that's what you want, because by Monday, high pressure strengthening around Iceland and Greenland and bringing those winds into a cold north or northeasterly. No little area of low pressure with a GFS 6Z through the middle of next week, so less of a risk of wintry conditions, but there could still be some wintry showers on the east coast anyway. Up to day 10, generally still quite cold with high pressure sitting over and to the east. Country in more extended range, again, we've got a blocking area of high pressure around Iceland and Greenland. Winds are coming in from a northeasterly direction, so potentially looking rather chilly, rather cold, and wintry up to the 21st March there with GFS 6Z. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to show everyone for doing that. Why don't drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, content, live streams, etc., etc. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe to. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Around 27 subscribers gets us to 19.6k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And by the way, this is a video upload for 10 to 14 day. We have, of course, since last summer, been doing 10 to 14 day live streams on a Wednesday. We've backed off those for the time being due to a drop in interest. So for the time being, the 10 to 14 days on a Wednesday will be released as videos. But Wednesday live streams will be back probably in the early part of the summer, I would have thought. GM, again, with low pressure off the coast of Spain, Portugal, and Bay of Biscay on Saturday, drawing up those southerly southeast winds, looking very mild through the weekend. It's not quite warm, but next week we turn the wind into a colder northerly and northeast. You might start to bring in some wintry showers into the east. That's next Wednesday with high pressure around Iceland, winds coming in from a cold northeasterly direction, and those cold conditions are maintained really up to day 10 with a blocking area of high pressure over and to the east of the country. Low pressure is out to the west of them. Obviously by day, due to the strength of March sunshine, it won't be too bad, probably a bit below average. It'll be particularly at night, but it's notable for a continuation or return of cold, frosty nights. And then the ECM rounds it all off for chart data, drawing up those warm southerly southeast winds over the weekend. Next week, though, high pressure strengthens around Iceland through Monday, pulls the wind into a northeasterly. That's next Tuesday. High pressures in the Atlantic going towards Greenland, Iceland. Low pressure around Denmark. Winds are coming in from a cold north or northeasterly direction. That's next Wednesday. Again, looking cold and wintry with high pressure around Iceland and Greenland. Low pressure is over the over Scandinavian Baltic Sea. Winds coming in from a cold north or northeast direction. Again, cold is comparative. Of course, all things are comparative. So not as cold as if this was happening in January, but it's going to be cold for the time of the year. Into the extended range of the ECM, once again, high pressure becomes centrally located across the country. And then by the end of the ECM run, 360 hours gets us to 30 to 20th March. Signs that high pressure going back north towards Greenland, and we're renewing northerly. And that could be the start of a tropospheric response to the strat warming then. Long way off, though, 2 weeks away. This is a precipitation forecast based on the ECM run from Meteo.com. So, it's going to be a lot of dry weather for the next day or so in the south, but some showery bursts again for England and Wales at the end of the week. Might be a little bit of fun to mix in with some of those downpours. But overall, quite a bit of dry weather to come. Next week turns drier and colder, and any showers probably turning a bit wintry, particularly so up in the north. These are the options on the table in the ECM ensembles today from ECM.int, not from the Icelandic Met today. Gets the 15th of March. We've got 15 members of the ECM ensembles, high pressure blocking around Greenland, Iceland, low pressure Scandinavia, and winds are coming in from a cold northerly direction there, so cold at day 10 with those options. And these are cold as well. This is 13 here, with again high pressure around Iceland, low pressure down towards Spain. Winds coming in from the east again. And then we have got 12 once more with high pressure blocking around Greenland, Iceland, low pressure down towards Spain, Portugal. And again, winds could well be coming in from a cold east direction. So all of those three options looking cold there at day 10. We've also got 6, so a minority option here, with high pressure block more towards the Canadian side of Greenland. So this is still quite chilly, but not as cold, and it's more sort of Atlantic based and unsettled, really. And then finally, we've got 5 with high pressure around Iceland and Greenland, low pressure Scandinavia, and winds are coming in from quite a cold northerly direction with those. Most of the options are looking cold, I have to say, at day 10. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It gets us to the 20th of March, 20 members of the ECM ensembles with a Scandinavian high, and that could bring the wind in to an easterly direction. We've got 20 with low pressure to southwest approaches. That'll be bringing up a milder, warmer southwesterly and unsettled. And then we have got 11 with again low pressure over and to west countries through the Atlantic, high pressure through the central Atlantic going up towards Greenland, and again winds are coming up from a southwesterly direction, with that looking relatively mild and unsettled. So at day 10, most of the options are looking cold. At day 14, there's a decent chance that we might turn things milder. Right, CFS V2 finally, and that tells us that this is not, what's happening next week is not the tropospheric response to the Stratospheric, because you expect, if we do get a tropospheric response, you expect that to last longer, than what's happening next week. So the tropospheric response to the Stratospheric, if we get to one, is much more likely to be from the last week of March onwards, I would have thought. Okay, let's just have a look at CFS V2, and then we're done. These are 500 millibar high tide. Let's break it down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 5th through to the 11th of March. The next week with high pressure over to the east country, low pressure cut off down to Spain, and winds are coming up from a southeast direction, mostly mild and dry. Week 2. They're going to be the 12th to the 18th of March with high pressure between Iceland and Norway, low pressure again down towards Spain, winds coming in potentially from quite a cold easterly direction, where there is a bit of a southeasterly tilt to that. And then week 3 will be the 19th to 25th of March, with high pressure through the west of Europe, mostly dry, with that probably reasonably mild. Week 4 is the 26th of March to 1st of April. This is a little bit more interesting. So high pressure is reaching further northwards, low pressure in Baltic Sea, and winds are potentially coming in from a cold northerly direction. So potentially turning a little bit colder there at the end of March. And again, that might be a tropospheric response to the Strat1. We shall have to wait and see. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to open 14 Matt. Want to drop a comment? Let's know what you think about this on all of our videos and content. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get to subscribe too. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, just tell us what's happening on the channel tomorrow, because I've got 6 AM UK weather forecasts. I'll be a 10 to 14 dayer as well, so please keep checking back to the channel for more. We'll bring an update with the Stratwarm, of course, and these potential for colder conditions next week. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon, evening, / whenever you're watching video, and for this one, that's all for now, and thanks so much.